Hey everyone, it is Tuesday, August 14th in 2018. Okay, so here we go. This is going to be kind of a weird thing. I've been thinking about doing something like this for, well, if you follow my channel, you've probably heard me give things like this before, or make statements like this before, and I very rarely followed through with them. Which is on me, obviously. But my channel has always been kind of my own creation, and it kind of waxes and wanes with how much time I have, how much interest I have in the things that I'm doing presently at that time, and whatever. So, so here's the deal. So, how do I explain this? So every Tuesday, or I'm going to try every Tuesday, much like if you watch the Wednesday night Alaboom, whether you watch it live or if you watch it like after the fact, which, you know, for the tens of you that do watch it, it's been like going on for 2 years. If you're watching this, you have no idea what it is. It's just it's a live show where myself and my really good friends that I've made in the board game world, you know, Anthony Ricano, Keith Collins, Forrest Boyer, you know, Scott Alden, you know, and, you know, there's Pete Shirey. I'm always going to forget somebody, right? Barry Reynolds, Barry Dublé, you know, just, there's these people that, like, I've just come to know really well, and we get together on Wednesday nights and we talk about what's going on in our lives, what's going on in board games. We play some games when we do it. It's just a way for us to connect every week and kind of hang out. And if people want to watch us do it, then great. And the chat, the conversations that go on in the chat between the boomers, as we call them, and there's more than tens, but, you know, it's a relatively, you know, small number of people, but they tune in every Wednesday night, and we appreciate each and every one of them very much. And they have some fantastic conversations that go on, you know, just about all range of things. And I think it's pretty cool that they took that venue and they've created that and done that. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Anyway, much like I've made it a point every Wednesday night at 9 o'clock Central, or around 9 o'clock Central, to have an Alaboom episode, with some rare occasions like conventions or sickness or things like that. I've always wanted to do just kind of a ongoing video blog type of thing, just to kind of keep people up to date as to what's going on with my channel and what's going on in my life, and just to kind of, you know, talk to the people that I've almost got 15,000 of you that subscribed. I just went over like 3 million views, which, you know, technically I've been around for 10 years. That's really, you know, in my opinion, not that impressive, but I think just the fact that I've actually managed to keep a channel going for 10 years is impressive. To me, anyway. And I really almost hate saying that, because it sounds like I'm like, hey, look at me, but I don't like that. But anyway, taking a step back, what I want to do is every Tuesday I want to do a few blogs, and I want to do them in the way of, like, this is the what's going on with Undead Viking or with Lance kind of blog this week kind of thing. Talk about videos that I'm working on, talk about events that I'm going to be attending, talk about things that are interesting to me, and just kind of share that with you. And then I want to do one that is focused on role-playing games, because I've always, like, really wanted to talk more and more about role-playing games, and I have a lot of passion for that, and so I want to do that as well. And the reason why I'm doing separate ones is because I've kind of found out, or I've kind of just discovered, that if you separate out the different genres, then people can kind of pick and choose what they want. If you want to watch all of them, you can just click on all 3 of the videos. I haven't told you the 3rd video yet, but you watch all 3, or, you know, that way, like, people aren't going to be like, I don't have to try to find the stuff about role-playing games, you know, that sort of thing. So, so anyway, so this is the kind of what's up with me one, and then I'm going to make one right after I get done with this about role-playing games, and then the 3rd one that I'm going to talk about is I'm going to talk about miniature hobbies. So, like, that's predominantly going to be Warhammer, because that's what I've been playing a lot of. Well, I shouldn't say playing a lot of. That's what I've been involved in and been, you know, ankle deep or knee deep or whatever, chest deep into the hobby a lot over the last year or so. So I'm going to talk about that in the third video. So let's just take, and so that's every Tuesday. I'm going to hopefully do some quick little videos like this one and talk about those things. But anyway, so let's kind of backtrack and let's go on to what's going on in my life and whatever. And this is kind of like, I'm going to try to be kind of board gaming and tabletop focused, but there's going to be other things obviously going on in my life that are going to be like of interest, and I'm going to, at least to me, and I'm going to talk about those. And alright, so if you're watching this, I want to kind of get into rituals, so I went and got one of my favorite drinks in the whole wide world. I got an Arnold Palmer. They didn't have the 0-calorie one, so I'm going to say this. It is really, I am a large gentleman. I need to lose weight. I recently, well, here, hold on. This is one of my favorite drinks. I'm kind of annoyed because this is the light, but the convenience store next to me that always has, like, you can buy 2 of these giant cans for $1.50. They didn't have any of the 0-calorie ones, so I had to get the light ones, which, you know, instead of getting, like, 0 calories, I'm going to get, if I drink the whole thing of this, I'm going to get 150 calories, which, you know, I guess if this was a soda, it would be like 8 billion calories or whatever. But, you know, I'm one of those people that I need caffeine, otherwise I get a headache. I know I should break that habit too, but it kind of keeps me up and keeps me kind of charged, and I really do like Arnold Palmer. And I'm just going to say that if you kind of dig the taste of tea, and if you dig the taste of lemonade, and you're trying to cut down on your soda intake, if you can find these and find them in your local you know, whatever convenience store or whatever it is that you shop at, this is a really good alternative to sodas, and it'll cut a lot of the garbage calories out of your life. So I'm going to have a ritual where I'm going to have an Arnold Palmer, and I'm going to do these things. I think that's going to be kind of cool. So if you're watching this, you could crack open an Arnold Palmer yourself, or whatever drink you like, and we'll go from there. Oh man, that's so good. It's so tasty. Alright, anyway, so what's going on in my life? Well, let's talk about one thing. I was recently at Gen Con. I took my daughter to Gen Con. I'm going to get her to hopefully be on a podcast with me, the TMG, Tasting Mitchell Games podcast, to talk about her adventures at Gen Con. I'm hopefully going to like force her to do that. But if she doesn't want to, I asked her to do it already, and she was a little bit reticent to do it, basically because she thinks she won't really have anything interesting to say, even though I said, well, I'm going to like it. But I asked her to be on that. Hopefully, you know, I can get her on and she can just talk about it. You can see Gen Con through an 11-year-old's eyes. I enjoy Gen Con a great deal. It was weird, though, and I'm going to say this because, okay, so I've talked about this in a few videos if you watched in the past, and these are like very sporadic, so finding them in my channel will be difficult. But I've talked about how, like, my career as a tabletop videographer or whatever, a media creator, has kind of changed. You know, I started out, you know, like I said, about 10 years ago, when there was only a handful of us doing videos, and now there's a ton of people doing videos, which, you know, is great that they do that. And my videos tend to be pretty bare bones, right? You know, they are the standard talking head. It's like, you know, here's the game, here's what I think about it, here's how to play, and then we're done. You know what I mean? And I do that because it's worked for me, and, you know, I've always said I need to change it up and everything like that, but I don't know if I ever will. Hopefully, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like not enough time in the day to, like, do the necessary situations where I can, you know, create or build a good studio, because this is like, you know, my game room in my basement. But to, like, get to that point where I have the time, you know, because as a parent and as a husband, and also with my full-time job with Tasting Mitchell Games, I don't have a lot of time to, you know, really devote to it. And so I started off doing my videos and just, you know, just videoing the games that I liked, that I was excited about, and I kind of just focused on that. And then for whatever reason, it just became my thing to do Kickstarter previews or reviews or whatever you want to call them. And you know, and that's what I do now for the vast majority. So this is my way of like these blogs, is that I want to do things like talk about games that I've played, talk about things that I'm excited about, and talk about things that maybe are bugging me about the hobby or whatever. So I was at Gen Con. I saw a lot of things that I really dug, but then I also saw, like, I realize now that even though I should count myself super, super lucky that I have a job with Tasty Minstrel Games, and my full-time job is working for a board game company, which is, you know, fantastic. It is absolutely amazing. My enjoyment of my life increased so much because of that. But what I found myself at Gen Con was I'd be talking to people that I was really good friends with that are still like board game media creators, and not so much that they were like it was their full-time job, but they were still doing it. And I talked to people like Joel Eddy, I talked to people like Dan King, you know, I talked to oh geez, there's too many people. I'm gonna Michael Wright, you know, why can't I remember all these people's names? But anyway, I talked to so many, and they were just super excited, and they're like, oh, did you check out this game? Oh, did you check out that game? Did you see this? And the thing is that I hadn't. And because I don't have my, you know, my finger on the pulse of the board game world anymore. I'm concerned about what Tasty Minstrel Games is creating. I'm worried about making sure people know about, like, Trade on the Tigress, Jung Lee Law. Hey, you know, cheap little plug there. I'm concerned with, like, people knowing what we're creating and what's on the pipe and what we're doing, and that's kind of my focus. And I kind of just felt this weird emotion, not exactly sadness, but like somehow like I had been on this boat with all these people, right? And we were all going along, and we were making creations, and we're talking about board games, and we're having a blast, and we're doing all those things. And at some point, like, another boat came up close, and that boat had all these really cool things going on too, and they asked me if I wanted to go on that boat. And then I got on that boat, and then we kept on going, and slowly but surely these two boats kind of separated and left. And so I'm over here, and I'm on this boat, and I'm still having a blast. As a matter of fact, like, on this boat, when I was on this boat, I was sitting there, but along with that boat, I had this, like, this garbage scow that was my previous occupation. And I don't say that to be mean. I mean, the place I worked at prior to working for TMG was very, very kind to me, and they were very, very good to me, and they you know, they compensated me. They gave, you know, they helped me put clothes on the backs of my children. They helped me put food on my table, and you know, and they were very, very good to me. So I'm not saying that it was like a bad thing, but in comparison to what I do now, it is just so much. You know, one of the secret, and I shouldn't say this, it's kind of a shameful joy, but when I met my wife at my old job, my beautiful, patient, loving wife, and she'll ask me, hey, do you want to go to lunch today? And I'll say, yeah, sure, and I will drive over to her job to pick her up, especially like in the summer, and I'll be like just standing in the lobby, or like, oh, you know, if it's a nice day out, I'll just be hanging out in outside, like in the little like not the parking lot, but there's like a kind of like front pavilion kind of thing, and I'll just be standing there in my shorts. Basically what I'm wearing here, I got my gym shorts on, I got you know, my Lamentations of the Flame Princess t-shirt on, I got my Lucky Alaska hat on, and all these people that I used to work with will see me, and they'll be like, hey, how you doing? And I'm like, hey, how's it going? And I'll see them, and they're like, you know, like the business cash, where, you know, the Docker pants, you know, the button-up shirt, you know, and that's what I used to wear every day to work. I mean, and they can even say, they're like, man, you look super happy. I was like, I am super happy, you know. But anyway, so regardless, as I was saying, so like being on like this thing, like over here, I jumped off that, and I no longer had that garbage scow. And that garbage scow, which is like, you know, I mean, well, admittedly, there are more and more people now that do board game media that's their job. But here's this garbage scow, and it's continue on, and I'm on this like beautiful, like, hey, let's work in board games all day long kind of beautiful situation, but these two boats, they kind of separated, and they left. And so I will go to a convention, and I will see all these people that I used to be on this party boat with, but they're more and more every time I see them. It's more of looking at them from afar, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's something where I have to get over it, and I have to kind of just say, you know what? I have a job that's super awesome. I have a job that people would love to have. I need to focus on that and focus how amazing that is. And I can still be sad that I still don't do this, you know, but I should really be happy with what I have. And that's a tough thing to people, and I think that's a lesson I think a lot of people need to learn. Where it's like, it's okay to have drive, and it's okay to have, like, I want to achieve this, or I want to get to that point, or I want to be able to do this. And I think those are wonderful things to do, and I probably need more of that. I probably need more of that drive to push me forward. But, you know, I do think that being able to be happy with what you've achieved is something, especially when it's something that, like, people envy. You know, I think it's something that people really need to, and well, I shouldn't say people, I should say I really need to work on. So, anyway, that aside, a couple cool things at Gen Con. Well, 3 cool things at Gen Con. One, the Forge World booth. Fantastic. I spent way too much money there. I'll talk about that when I do the miniatures video, which will be like the 3rd one of these things. One, I talked to the fantastic people at Ultimate Gaming Table. They had the Kickstarter. That was a while back, and they reached out to me and asked me if I was interested in having them sponsor my channel in some way, as far as you know, getting me a table, and like, you know, at a reduced price. And I still paid a hefty amount, but getting a table at a reduced price, and then, you know, that would be like the table that I would be filming all my videos on, and also I would do like a review of it, and like they would be listed as a sponsor for my channel. And I was like, that's really cool. It's really cool that you offered that to me, and I took them up on the offer. So, because there's been such a long period of time for fulfillment, like, I had worried that there was like a thing going on where maybe our paths got crossed. There were some emails that I sent that didn't get answered, and then I would get an answer that wasn't exactly like the answer I was looking for. And I don't blame them for that. It's something where I should have kept on top of it a lot better than I did. But ultimately, it was one of those things where it was like, I knew they were going to be at Gen Con, so I was like, you know, I've exchanged like probably 50 emails with the gentlemen that run that company, and I was like, I'm gonna finally like meet them and talk to them. And so that was fantastic. I was so happy. I got to meet them. They were super genuine, super nice. You know, they were like, hey, let's put all your fears to bed right here, right now. Let's go ahead and finalize the things that you want, and we'll make sure that you are in our system with exactly everything that we both of us agreed upon. And I thought that was super awesome and super cool that we were able to do that. So the really awesome thing is that the day that I went up to them to talk about it, they pulled me up in their computer system to see what I had for my order, which was actually really cool. They had like a line of people that were basically there. They were showing off their tables, and there was a line of people there, and people were like purchasing the tables there, pre-ordering them right then and right there. And so they had their whole system set up, and they pulled up my order, and I was right to, and once again, you know, they had everything that I had put into their pledge manager correct, 100%, but there was emails after the fact that we kind of bounced back and forth with some changes, and like there was a few issues that were not there. And as luck would have it, they were actually getting ready to send out my stuff that day that I stopped by. And so I was talking to them. I was like, okay, let's fix this. And we were able to talk. We were able to fix it. And they were superb. Melissa and Mina, who are the 2 people that are handling their customer service, they have been excellent with me. And the really awesome thing was, as I was talking to them, I looked over and I saw these tables that were specifically for Warhammer. And Warhammer 40K and Warhammer Age of Sigmar, and they were beautiful. They were absolutely beautiful. And as I looked at them, I was just like, man, oh man, I wish that had been an option when when we worked this out. And they said, well, we can still do that. And they said, but if you switch to those tables, those aren't going to be done until October. So we're not going to be able to send you out your table until, until late October, maybe early November. So I was like, oh, because I really want this table. I mean, these tables are fantastic. But I said, all right, that's fine. I was like, I can wait. I've waited this long. I can wait a little bit longer. And so there, I'm going to be getting my ultimate table of Ultimate Gaming. I'm going to be getting those because I'm taking 2 tables and putting them together, so it's going to be a huge playing surface. But I'm going to be getting those, late October, early November. Is the projected date. So I'm really looking forward to that. So look forward to seeing a video about my table at that time. The other super cool thing that I saw there, I mean, I saw a lot of games, and I played a lot of games while I was there, but there's always been one game that turns out to be kind of the most fun of the games that I played when I was there, and that game for me, it's weird that this game was, but that game ended up for me was the game Villainous, which a lot of people have been talking about, a lot of people have been discussing. It's the game where each person plays a Disney villain, and they are working to try to fulfill their villainous thing that they're trying to do. And you kind of can sabotage other people by using your special powers to kind of hurt other people, and you're all kind of racing to. And it's an asymmetrical. Each person's goal is different from the other person. There are 2 things about it that I do think they need to fix, or I should say, things that if you're playing it, you need to fix yourself. It says up to 6 players. If you play with 6, you might as well just put a snooze button on your in between turns and take a little 5-minute nap, because there's way too much downtime with 6 people. So Scott Nicholson recently said that he had been playing at 6 players, and then what they did was they divided the game up into 2 groups of 3, and that was immeasurably better. And I think that's genius. If you end up with more than 4, I mean, 5 would be tough because you have a 3-player game and a 2-player game. But seriously, play that game with 3 or 4. But it is really, really good. I like playing Jafar just because Jafar, he's our man. If he can't do it, that's right, great. So, because Aladdin's probably my favorite Disney movie. If you have a different one, go ahead and tell me what you think. So that was kind of my game that I played, which I really, really enjoyed. So, and there's a lot more from Gen Con that I got to talk about, but that isn't this video. So finally, the last thing I want to say is videos that of games that I recently got that I'm going to be playing. I have a game called Heroes and Warlords that I have to play another time to kind of get the rules straight, that you should be seeing a video for really soon. I have a game looking for it over here, a miniatures game called Zero Gravity that I'm going to be playing. That I played a few times. I need to play that one more time before I'm comfortable doing the video. I played a really fantastic game from my friend called Seppi. He was the guy who did End of the Line, which was that post-apocalyptic, just hilariously fun game to play. But he's got a new game called Processing, which is about aliens, deciding whether or not they're going to process humans into food or not. He's got crazy ideas for games, but they're really fun. And also, I did manage to get a copy of Guildmaster, the new game from Good Games that is going to be hitting Kickstarter fairly soon as well. And I played that, and it's fantastic, but I'm going to be doing videos. So expect videos for those games and much more relatively soon. Yeah, but expect something like this every Tuesday, and to just talk about what I've been working on, what I'm excited about, what's going on in my life, and what have you. So if you have any games you think that were awesome at Gen Con, please tell me what you think in the comments below. I'll try to respond to those as best as I can. Also, if you think that Villainous is a horrible game and want to tell me why, feel free to do so. If you saw me at Gen Con walking around with my daughter, please say, hey, I was that one person that yelled and screamed at you from afar and waved their hands. Because there were 2 people that did that, and I don't know who they were. So if you're watching this and you're that person, please tell me. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching this, and like I said, hold me to the fire in this one. If you don't see a video, like I don't know, send me a picture with your fist upraised or something like that. But expect a video blog entry every week around this time. Until next time, you have an awesome time, and then if you want to, you can watch the other 2 videos as well. All right, awesome.